There have been many theories to define leadership. This video clip will talk about 6 of the best-known leadership theories in 10 minutes. First, we will define leadership, then discuss the leadership theories, and make a room to think about application of leadership into practice. Leadership is a process whereby one individual influences a group of individuals to achieve a common goal. Defining leadership as a process means that it is not a trait or characteristic that resides in the leader, but is a transactional event that occurs between the leader and followers. Process implies that a leader affects and it is affected by followers in both directions. It emphasizes that leadership is not a linear nor one-way, but rather an interactive and bilateral event. When leadership is defined in this manner, it becomes available to everyone. That is, it is not restricted to only the formally designated leader in a group. It is important to understand developing leadership. Leadership involves influence. It is concerned with how the leader affects followers. Influence is the sine qua non of leadership. Without influence, leadership does not exist. Leadership occurs in groups. Groups are the context in which leadership takes place. Leadership involves influencing a group of individuals who have a common purpose. This can be a small task group, a community group, or a larger group encompassing an entire organization. Leadership training programs that teach people to lead themselves are not considered a part of leadership within the definition that is set forth in this discussion. Leadership includes attention to goals. This means that leadership has to do with directing a group of individuals toward accomplishing some task or end. Leaders direct their energies toward individuals who are trying to achieve something together. Therefore, leadership occurs and has its effects in contexts where individuals are moving toward a goal. First attempt to define leadership was the great man theory. It postulated that great leaders are born, not made. Maybe you either have it or you don't. And then it tried to identify the set of attributes that all of these natural-born leaders have in common. While it's now become clear that leadership is actually learnable, there is indeed a truth to the notion that some people inherently have more leadership gifts than others. It spawned something called the trait theory of leadership, a line of research that examines which individual characteristics we should pursue to lead effectively. It assumes that some of the personal qualities can be learned. Actually, it is a very simple theory. Be the one like this, and people will follow you. But many were confused because a number of traits were identified, and no single set has emerged as the ideal for all. So, it can be overwhelming to attempt. Somewhat related to is the skills theory of leadership. Just like a trait theory, it tries to identify a set of key attributes, but in this case, practical skills rather than just a general quality of a leader. The skills approach takes a leader-centered perspective on leadership. However, in the skills approach, we shift our thinking from a focus on personality characteristics which are usually viewed as innate and relatively fixed, to a focus on skills and ability that can be learned and developed. The bottom line on this is that if you want people to follow you, you need technical skills in your field. That is, you need to be good at what you are doing so you have some credibility. You need people skills like persuasion and diplomacy and affability. And you need conceptual skills, the ability to see the big picture and to think strategically. Next, there is a theory that leadership style is the key to success. Styles like be autocratic and demanding, or be democratic and participative, or be laissez-faire and leave people alone. The central purpose of a style approach is to explain how leaders combine both task and relationship behaviors to influence subordinates in their effort to reach a goal. Two different universities identified the broad leadership styles: the University of Michigan and the Ohio State University. Probably the best known style-based theory is called the managerial grade. As you see the icon, adopt a leadership style that's both people-friendly and uncompromising on performance. It is a solid foundation, but there is a bit more to leadership effectiveness. That's where these next couple theories came from. Situational leadership theory argues that there is no one best way to fit all model. Certain traits and skills and styles fit better in one situation than another. So the leader must adapt. Situational leadership stresses that leadership is composed of both a directive and a supportive dimension, and each has to be applied properly in a given situation. To determine what is needed in a particular situation, a leader must evaluate her or his employees and assess how competent and committed they are to perform a given task. It is a closely connected idea called the contingency theory. The situational leadership approach assumes that the situation is static and the leader should adapt to it. On the other hand, the contingency theory assumes that the leader's default style is also pretty much fixed. Maybe he is much more task-oriented than people-oriented. So the trick is to fit the right leader to the situation. Transactional leadership and transformational leadership are two theories that we can consider together. As the term implies, transactional leadership means that there is a reciprocity of behavior between the leader and the follower. People will follow based on the incentives in place, so the leader's job is to find the right mix of rewards and punishments and then closely monitor what's going on. On the other hand, the theory of transformational leadership says that leaders gain buy-in and commitment not as much from the quid pro quo approach as they do from encouraging their followers, caring for them, inspiring them toward a vision. Therefore, they get result by proactively transforming the environment and the relationship. Cultivating followership rather than paying for it or punishing non-compliance like the transactional leaders does. Plus, leader-member exchange theory is a similar baseline to transactional theory because it suggests that leadership is basically about a fair exchange between the leader and the followers. However, it goes further to say that the exchange creates an in-group and out-group with respect to the leader, and then in turn affects people's performance and willingness to stick around. And then there are many different theories, like servant leadership theory, which is a kind of a blend between transformational leadership and transactional leadership. Lastly, team leadership. Teams are organizational groups composed of members who are interdependent, who share common goals, and who must coordinate their activities to accomplish these goals. In this video clip, we've learned the core theories of leadership, and now go forward to the Module 5 and let's see more about leadership development. Thank you.